What did your therapist tell you that flipped the switch in your brain for the better? Had a breakthrough revelation. Expected everything to change. It didn't. She then explained to me that change doesn't come from merely understanding what your issues are but from doing the hard work to undo those ingrained behaviors. Oh, damn. Yes, I feel this one. I kept getting frustrated that I still felt so bad after going to therapy for a long time. I was doing the work, but there was so much work to do and for a long time before it started working. Honestly, the most therapeutic thing a therapist has ever done is just widen her eyes in horror. It's so validating to realize that yes, in fact, that thing that happened was really messed up and I'm not the crazy one. I had a psychiatrist do a very smooth and professional move, taking off her glasses and wiping her eyes after I described something my abusive parent did. She kept her composure and kept us moving, but I felt so seen and cared about. Someone cared that this had happened to me. It meant a lot to me. During our last session, lost my insurance coverage, my therapist cried her eyes out with me. I have never felt so seen or cared about. She knew. She knows. That voice in your head isn't you. It's a voice you have heard. You have grown up with. You have learned. The best thing about learning is that it is never finished. You can learn a new voice. I'm still ages away from replacing the voice, but it has made many scenarios much easier to manage. A Zen teacher told me about that mean corrective voice in our heads called the judge. It's constantly holding us back and putting us down, and reminding us of what screw-ups we are. Sometimes we hear from a voice that always plays the victim, or another voice, or a subpersonality, that tries to act responsibly. The teacher asked, "But which one of the voices or personas is you?" I did not know. The teacher then explained that I'm not any of these voices. I am the observer of all these voices or personas or subpersonalities or whatever you want to call them. At the time I was doing a lot of meditation and literally watching and trying to quiet my brain. Once you realize that you are the observer and most of this stuff is your brain in overdrive with different streams of thought just trying to get your attention like little screaming kids, it changes everything. I no longer get anxiety attacks because I don't identify with that panicky voice. That's not me. I'm the observer in the background that acknowledges the anxiety and decides what action to take to relieve the anxiety. As you learn how to quiet your brain in meditation, you can quiet any of these individual voices or personas when they are screaming to try and get your attention. This changed everything for me. I needed to leave my husband. I raise goats. She said, "Do you ever just go out there and beat the crap out of one of your goats, hoping it will turn into a sheep? He's always going to be a goat." Though I've been to therapy, this one is something I read online randomly. Just because things could have been different doesn't mean it would have been better. I basically took it as stop fretting about what you should have done differently or how people treated you. You could have done it completely differently, the way you wish you did, and something negative could have still happened. What happened happened. You can't live in the past. All you can do is move forward. This might seem odd, but 3 weeks into working with her, at 30 years old, this therapist looks right at me and asks, "Do you see yourself as a person?" My brain broke in that moment. I felt like my understanding of myself shattered in the exact moment that suddenly everything made so much sense. You see, my whole life, my family treated me as a prop, an accessory, a program, an extension of themselves, anything but a whole, actual human. So I never saw myself as one. Any courtesy, kindness, or grace I would extend to others, I didn't deserve, because I wasn't a person. Since then, I try to ask myself some very pointed questions when I'm mean to myself. If someone else in the exact same situation told you about it, would you tell them they're overreacting? If you saw someone else who looked exactly like you wear that, would you think the same mean things about them that you're saying to yourself? What would you say to someone else in the exact same situation? It's still a long road, and it didn't fix me, but it gave me a lot of perspective and started me on a healing journey I never knew I needed. Quit invalidating your feelings just because you think others have it harder than you. It's not a competition. It was made very clear to me as a kid that my stepmom was the only one who could have bad days and take things out on people. She couldn't believe that anyone other than her could be diagnosed with depression and tried to talk my doctor out of diagnosing me with depression. I was almost 18 and she insisted she be in the doctor's office with me. I was just lucky to get there before her and get everything out to the doctor because she got there and my doctor realized my mom was crazy. During lockdown, age 19, she got worse, and it wasn't until I screamed at her that I wished I was never born that she realized I was actually miserable and wanted to die, and that all the times I tried to end it weren't just for attention. Happy people don't pee in other people's Cheerios. It helped me look at criticism differently, more productively. Negative people can be so insidious. They may not be outwardly angry or especially cruel enough for someone to more obviously remove them from their social circle, but their constant criticism of others and everything can be contagious. I grew up with a dad who was constantly criticizing everything, and it spread to me being super judgy to people. I was also insecure in part by him making fun of me growing up. So I think I was tearing other people down because I was doing that to myself because he did it to me. Because he himself was probably unhappy. Stressful situation. 1. Is it something I can control? 2. If not, don't stress too much over it. 3. If yes, what is within my ability? What can I do about it to make it better? The one I learned recently was, is it a problem or just an inconvenience? It's a tiny thing, but it's helped so much. I lost my new gloves the other day and might have been time where I would rip myself apart for it, but asking this helped a lot. It's not ideal, but the gloves were cheap and I have money. I'll be in the city later this week and I can get new ones, which I'll probably be more careful with as a result. Dope. Feeling your feelings doesn't involve processing them with logic or tell yourself a story about why they're happening. It's listening to your body, realizing what muscles hurt, what feels tight, fluttery, nauseous, hot, cold, or whatever else. It's noticing the burning feeling in your eyes, the lump in your throat, or feeling so light you could float away. I think I just finally understand. Feel your feelings. The wild part is that if you actually feel them properly and accept their presence, they become less intense really fast. Why is it your job to fix everyone? Why are you always at fault or think you are? Why can't you give yourself grace? When putting up boundaries, they'll be mad at first. Then they'll get over it. They don't have any other option. I like the variation of, they will get mad, and that's a good thing. Treat making them mad as a win. She confirmed that something I wasn't sure how to categorize was indeed sexual abuse. The fact that it was gray area was intentional on the abuser's part, not because it was complicated and I was maybe crazy for wondering. When I said I wasn't sure what to do with that info, she said I didn't have to do anything with it, just know it was wrong and not my fault. Seems so simple now, but it was like I could finally stop torturing myself wondering if it really was bad or I was blowing out of proportion. Tell whatever is making you anxious in the moment that you see it and acknowledge it, but it's done taking up space. You don't owe anyone anything. Separating the reaction from what are you going to do about it. The first you don't control, the second you do control. Yes, this one. That you can decide that being 80 or 90% sure you're making the right decision can be enough. It's never usually going to be 100%, so aim for 80 or 90. Also that I could potentially equally regret having another kid as much as not having one. I was so stuck in the fear of regretting not having more that I never considered the equal opposite could be true. Now happily one and done and feeling very confident in that choice. I had a lot of fear of authority figures, and so I avoided talking to admin at my medical school about any issues I was having. We traced it back to an experience I had with gun violence from an authority figure. He said, "Well, Dr. Neil doesn't have a gun." It seems really silly, but that mantra really helped me. Whenever I talked to my dean, I would think to myself, Dr. Neil doesn't have a gun, and it would help me reassure myself that I was safe in that situation. I use that mantra for a lot of people now. I do a version of this. My brain will catastrophize about bad social encounters where people become aggressively unreasonable. I need to step back and remind myself that I actually only know one screaming, angry person who will go glassy-eyed with rage and hurt me. We're no contact, and she is now pushing 80. That yes, I was surrounded by arseholes, and it wasn't that I was one. It was that simple. Suddenly it clicked that I didn't deserve what I got. Then there was the other one when I said I sometimes wished my kids had a bigger family and maybe I should get in contact. She asked me a simple question. What makes you think they won't treat your kids the same way they treated you? You were a kid too when they did it to you. Solidified my no contact. Do you want to get married and have children, or is society telling you to get married and have children? Your brain may not be telling you that you are worthless, but your behaviors and your choices are not those of a person who has good self-worth. You have to forgive your past self for the decisions you made in order to survive the situation you were in. Did you know we have value the moment we are born? I did not, and it shook me to find I have worth. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.